Good evening, and a very warm welcome to you all. Let us begin today's service with the singing of hymn number 51. Eternal mind the potter is, and thought the eternal clay. The hand that fashions is divine, his works pass not away. Man is the noblest work of God, his beauty, power, and grace. Immortal, perfect as his mind, reflected face to face. Hymn number 51. The theme for tonight's readings is, Where art thou? I shall start with readings from the Bible. Genesis. The Lord called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? Luke. And it came to pass in those days that Jesus went out into a mountain to pray, and continued all night in prayer to God. And when it was day, he called unto him his disciples, and of them he chose 12, whom also he named apostles. And he came down with them, and stood in the plain, and the company of his disciples, and a great multitude of people, out of all Judea and Jerusalem, and from the seacoast of Tyre and Sidon, which came to hear him, and to be healed of their diseases. And they that were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed. And the whole multitude sought to touch him, for there went virtue out of him, and healed them all. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples, and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil, for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. I say unto you, which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. Give to every man that asketh of thee, of him that taketh away thy goods. Ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Love your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over, shall men give unto your bosom. For with the same measure that ye mete withal, it shall be measured to you again. Isaiah. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. And the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness, quietness and assurance forever. And my people shall dwell in a peaceable habitation, and in sure dwellings, and in quiet resting places. Matthew. Jesus answered, Lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he shall hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Luke. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. 1 Chronicles. Know thou the God of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searcheth all hearts, and understandeth all the imaginations of the thoughts, if thou seek him, and he will be found of thee. Who then is willing to consecrate his service this day unto the Lord? Romans. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. Be of the same mind one towards another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. For we are saved by hope. But hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. Likewise the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. And he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is in the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints, according to the will of God. And we know that all things work together for good, to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. Colossians. Set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth. Put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge, after the image of him that created him. Put on, therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. And above all these things put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body. And be ye thankful. 2 Corinthians. Be perfect, be of good comfort, be of one mind, live in peace, and the God of love and peace shall be with you. I shall now read correlative passages from the Christian Science textbook, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, by Mary Baker Eddy. Above error's awful din, blackness and chaos, the voice of truth still calls, Adam, where art thou? Consciousness, where art thou? Art thou dwelling in the belief that mind is in matter, and that evil is in mind? Or art thou in the living faith that there is and can be but one God, and keeping his commandment? Until the lesson is learned that God is the only mind governing man, mortal belief will be afraid, as it was in the beginning, and will hide from the demand, Where art thou? This awful demand, Adam, where art thou, is met by the admission from the head, heart, stomach, blood, nerves, etc. Lo, here I am, looking for happiness and life in the body, but finding only illusion, a blending of false claims, false pleasure, pain, sin, sickness, and death. If you are too material to love the science of mind and are satisfied with good words instead of effects, if you adhere to error and are afraid to trust truth, the question then recurs, Adam, where art thou? It is unnecessary to resort to aught beside mind in order to satisfy the sick, that you are doing something for them, for if they are cured, they generally know it and are satisfied. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The demands of God appeal to thought only, but the claims of mortality and what are termed laws of nature appertain to matter. Which then are we to accept as legitimate and capable of producing the highest human good? We cannot obey both physiology and spirit, for one absolutely destroys the other. and one or the other must be supreme in the affections. It is impossible to work from two standpoints. If we attempt it, we shall presently hold to one and despise the other. Knowledge and pleasure evolve through material sense, produce the immediate fruits of fear and shame. Ashamed before truth, error shrank, abased from the divine voice, calling out to the corporeal senses. Its summons may be thus paraphrased: Where art thou, man? In mind? Is mind in matter? Is mind capable of error as well as of truth, of evil as well as of good? When God is all, and he is mind, and there is but one God, hence one mind. Fear was the first manifestation of error, of material sense. Thus error began and will end the dream of matter. We should forget our bodies in remembering good and the human race. Good demands of man every hour in which to work out the problem of being. Consecration to good does not lessen man's dependence on God, but heightens it. Neither does consecration diminish man's obligations to God, but shows the paramount necessity of meeting them. Christian Science takes naught from the perfection of God, but it ascribes to him the entire glory. By putting off the old man with his deeds, mortals put on immortality. We cannot fathom the nature and quality of God's creation by diving into the shallows of mortal belief. We must reverse our feeble flutterings, our efforts to find life and truth in matter, and arise above the testimony of the material senses, above the mortal to the immortal idea of God. These clearer, higher views inspire the godlike man to reach the absolute center and circumference of his being. Job said, I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye seeth thee. Mortals will echo Job's thought when the supposed pain and pleasures of matter cease to predominate. They will then drop the false estimate of life and happiness, of joy and sorrow, and attain the bliss of loving unselfishly, working patiently, and conquering all that is unlike God. Starting from a higher standpoint, one rises spontaneously, even as light emits light without effort. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The foundation of mortal discord is a false sense of man's origin. To begin rightly is to end rightly. Every concept which seems to begin with the brain begins falsely. Divine mind is the only cause or principle of existence. Cause does not exist in matter, in mortal mind, or in physical form. Who that has felt the perilous beliefs in life, substance, and intelligence separated from God can say that there is no error of belief? Knowing the claim of animal magnetism, that all evil combines in the belief of life, substance, and intelligence in matter, electricity, animal nature, and organic life, who will deny that these are the errors which truth must and will annihilate? Christian scientists must live under the constant pressure of the apostolic command to come out from the material world and be separate. They must renounce aggression, oppression, and the pride of power. Christianity, with the crown of love upon her brow, must be their queen of life. Students of Christian Science who start with this ladder and think to succeed without the Spirit will either make shipwreck of their faith or be turned sadly awry. They must not only seek but strive to enter the narrow path of life, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Man walks in the direction toward which he looks, and where his treasure is, there will his heart be also. If our hopes and affections are spiritual, they come from above, not from beneath, and they bear, as of old, the fruits of the Spirit. Matter has no life to lose, and spirit never dies. A partnership of mind with matter would ignore omnipotent and omnipresent mind. This shows that matter did not originate in God, Spirit, and is not eternal. Therefore, matter is neither substantial, living, nor intelligent. The starting point of divine science is that God, Spirit, is all in all, and that there is no other might nor mind. That God is love, and therefore he is divine principle. Christian science presents unfoldment, not accretion. It manifests no material growth from a molecule to mind, but an impartation of the divine mind to man and the universe. Proportionately as human generation ceases, the unbroken links of eternal harmonious being will be spiritually discerned, and man, not of the earth, earthly, but coexistent with God, will appear. The scientific fact that man and the universe are evolved from spirit, and so are spiritual, is as fixed in divine science as is the proof that mortals gain the sense of health only as they lose the sense of sin and disease. Mortals can never understand God's creation while believing that man is a creator. God's children, already created, will be cognized only as man finds the truth of being. Thus it is that the real ideal man appears in proportion as the false and material disappears. No longer to marry or to be given in marriage, neither closes man's continuity nor his sense of increasing number in God's infinite plan. Spiritually, to understand that there is but one Creator, God, unfolds all creation, confirms the Scriptures, brings the sweet assurance of no parting, no pain, and of man deathless and perfect and eternal. If we follow the command of our Master, take no thought for your life, we shall never depend on bodily conditions, structure, or economy, but we shall be masters of the body, dictate its terms, and form and control it with truth. There is no power apart from God. Hold these points strongly in view. Keep in mind the verity of being, that man is the image and likeness of God, in whom all being is painless and permanent. Remember that man's perfection is real and unimpeachable, whereas imperfection is blameworthy, unreal, and is not brought about by divine love. God is mind, and God is infinite, hence all is mind. On this statement rests the science of being, and the principle of this science is divine, demonstrating harmony and immortality. The divine understanding reigns, is all, and there is no other consciousness. Let us have a few moments of silent prayer, and then we shall repeat aloud the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Let us unite in singing hymn number 71. Glorious things of thee are spoken, Zion, city of our God. He whose word cannot be broken, formed thee from his own abode. On the rock of ages founded, what can shake thy sure repose? By salvation's walls surrounded, thou mayest smile at all thy foes. Hymn number 71. Again, welcome. This church is a branch of the Mother Church, the First Church of Christ Scientist in Boston, Massachusetts. The lesson sermon read from this desk on Sunday morning is the same read in Christian Science churches throughout the world. Children and teenagers are welcome in our Sunday school, where they learn the healing truths of Christian Science and their application to daily life. Sunday school meets at the same time as our church service, 10 a.m. For those not yet ready to attend Sunday school or these Wednesday evening meetings, our children's room is also available. In our reading room, a quiet sanctuary located in this building, you may study, borrow, or purchase the Bible, the Christian Science textbook, and other Christian Science literature. The hours of the reading room are open a half hour prior to each Wednesday evening meeting and a half hour following each Sunday service. Everyone is welcome to attend our services, to use the reading room, and to bring their children to Sunday school. This meeting is now open to you to share testimonies of healing and remarks on Christian Science. Please remember, if you are visiting us on Zoom, to unmute yourself before you start speaking. And thank you all for being here and for the testimonies. Let us close tonight's meeting with the singing of hymn number 382. What is thy birthright, man, child of the perfect one? What is thy Father's plan for his beloved Son? Hymn number 382.
Take then the sacred